Good afternoon everybody, welcome to another video. Catch up with me next to this small offshoot of the Avon today. Come out to do a little bit of trotting just before the end of the season. It's the 13th of March today. Now the reason I've come here is because the Avon is a lovely colour at the moment. The other reason is that it's horrendously windy today. And I did want to do some trotting. All the rivers are looking cracking, of course, just before the end of the season, they're all looking cracking. Sort of locally anyway. And I really wanted to do some trotting, and a lot of the swims in here are quite covered. It's tree lined, so trotting is a possibility here. I've got with me, of course, my Daiwa Tournament Pro 15 foot. On there I've got a Drake alloy stem stick float and my Garcia 506 Mark II reel. Now, trotting. I'm going to go a bit of a two-pronged approach. We've got probably 5 hours or so today till it gets dark, maybe 5.5 hours. So I bought a big amount of mashed bread there, which I'm going to feed a fish bread flake on the hook. Let's get another bit in. It's been feeding at the swim. Still been getting sorted. I've also brought some maggots and some casters, because I might try maggot and caster in some swims as well. I think probably if we fish bread, we're going to catch a chub. If we fish maggots and casters, who knows, chub, probably perch, little chublets, dace, all sorts of stuff. There's even a very, very, very outside chance of a barbel. So yeah, that would be cracking on the float. I'm going to start off in here. It's going to be a bit of a roving session, but if we've got, as I say, 5 hours or so, we can do sort of an hour in 5 swims. So I'm going to start in here, and then we'll have a rove up the stretch. And I don't think there's too many swims down that way, although we can always go and have a look. But yeah, we'll have a rove about, and just you can see me slowly get covered in this, this mashed bread. It's such a mess, but it's such a fantastic bait fished in conjunction with a bit of bread flake on the hook. So yeah, get the landing net together, and we'll crack on. Now I'm absolutely amazed, being that it is the penultimate day of the season. I'm amazed. I'll be amazed if I don't fall in here. I'm amazed there's no one else here. There's no one else at this stretch at all. I can't believe it. But there is a match on this morning. The club does have a match on this morning, so it may be that a lot of the chaps are there, but who knows. But it is a bit strange. But I work on Mondays, but I've taken tomorrow off, obviously being the last day of the season, but I've taken tomorrow off work because I wanted just to make the most of the last day of the season. So hopefully we can have a few fish out. Right, I'll put a slightly bigger hook on, a fairly small hook on here. I think we'll go with perhaps a size 12 if we're fishing a nice big bit of flake. We'll change this hook link, then we'll get fishing. Decided to go on a 10. It's quite a big 10 as well. I started recently fishing a bit lighter hook-wise, due to the fact that we catch some nice roach on the little tributaries, but not really much chance of any nice roach in here. Obviously, if we go on maggots or casters, we'll scale down. But I think to fish bread flake, we'll fish a nice big hook and a big bit of flake. See how we get on. I've fished here in the past. I've never fished on a float here in the past, so it is a lovely colour, I have to say. We'll start off about 4 foot deep and see how we get on. Yeah, been looking forward to this. Nearly came early this morning and then sort of changed my mind. Thought I'd rather fish into dark. And it was drizzling a bit this morning, and then the sun came out. I just thought, no, we're better off later. It's supposed to cloud over, and it has. Fortunately. Let's just run through there, lovely. Certainly give each swim a bit of time, certainly half an hour each. Absolutely love trotting, I have to say. Really started to love the method. Such an active method. Just wonderful, just teasing that float through. Croaky today, excuse me. Just wonderful, yeah, just teasing that float through. Change the spool on my reel, it's making a funny noise. It's going to go deeper and deeper until hopefully we start to connect with some fish. Or the bottom, one or the other. I'm quite sure how deep it is in here. I don't fish this stretch too much. Yeah, we're on the bottom there. Does look a lovely colour though. There's about 2 foot of visibility, something like that. Perhaps a little bit clear, but it's overcast, so hopefully that will counteract that as far as the fish are concerned. God, I'm covered in this bread already. There we go. Blimey. Wonderful. Actually missed the line with my finger on the strike. God, pulling so hard in this flow. I want to keep my rod down as well, obviously to keep it out of the tree. And my rod, that is. And of course the fish, which is doing its best to get in there, of course, because it's a chub. Come on. Now we've gone away from the tree, which is a good start. I assume it's a chub anyway. Certainly is. It's a nice looking fish. You can see. Okay. He's over there, look. We can get him out of that flow. We're laughing. There we go. Oh, that's a lovely fish to start with. Wonderful. Right. We'll put him in the edge, give him a second to recover. There we are, it's about that. Now, the advantage of fishing this stretch, as opposed to the smaller rivers I've been fishing, is that the stamper chub is going to be much bigger in general. The average size certainly is going to be bigger. That's a cracker to start with. Now, I've bought my big landing net today, because as I say, with small chance of a barbel, very small, but can also keep these chub resting up in it whilst we try and have a few out of the same swim. So we'll get him down here, we'll prop him up, and we'll try and get another one. Well, that's a cracking start. If you've not tried it, guys, I really recommend trying. Certainly fishing with bread. I know Lots of people are like I was a few years ago and had no confidence in fishing bread at all. I chat quite often online on Instagram and get messages from people on Facebook and Instagram sort of saying, "Oh, I haven't got any confidence in bread. I see you use it with a lot of confidence and with a lot of success." My recommendations is get onto it. If you even if you're not going to trot, even just a bit of link-legged bread flake, or even with those little feeders I've used in previous videos, with a bit of flake behind, it's fantastic bait, especially for chub and roach. But the trick to it is, with your mashed bread, cheap as you can go, you don't want to spend money on that. At the end of the day, you're literally throwing it in the river. So we shop at Tesco's, so my wife buys me Neville's. I think it's about 40p a loaf, and literally just dunk it in a bit of water, push it down gently so all the bubbles come out, and then I'll just take it out, squeeze it, put it to one side, do that with an entire loaf, and then literally, it's called mashed bread because you mash it up with your hands. And that's all you need to do. However, that is absolutely useless for the hook. Neville's, it's far too dry. What you want for the hook, and obviously I haven't tried every single make out there, but what I use and what lots of people swear by is Warburton's. I use the orange, happily use the blue if not, it's just sliced differently. But the orange gives nice fat bits of flake. And I'll, in a sort of 3-hour, 4-hour session, I'll typically get through 3 or 4 slices, that's all. But the good thing about Warburton's is it's very stodgy. The best way to put it. It's very doughy, very stodgy. And once you squeeze it on the hook, I mean, you get 3-4 trots out of it if you want. I do, because I have to say it does brown me off. Changing bait every single cast can be an absolute pain. So I'll get 3-4 casts out of it. As you can see, this one's coming back no problem at all after a rundown, and it's in exactly the same state as it was when I put it in. I'll certainly expect to get three trots out of a bit of bread flake. But yeah, if you've not tried it, I really recommend you have a go, because it's fantastic. I'm not doing anything clever here at all with this trotting. I'm literally just letting that stick float run down with the current. I'm not even holding it back and trying to get the bait to present beautifully. I'm literally just running it down with the flow. Nothing technical. I'm not doing any of this, like I say, any of this holding back. I may do if I'm struggling for bites, but I just generally just run it down with the current. There you go. 2 trots still on. The key really to this type of fishing is the feeding, keeping the feed going in. You've got to pick the river that's the right colour. Fish need to be able to see it. It's no good fishing in when the river's colour of coffee, because the fish can't see the bait coming down the current. It really is just a case of feed, and then run your float down. When you've got them looking out for the bread. I don't tend to feed too much. As I say, it's 1 loaf's worth there. There's a little bit of white crumb in there as well. So perhaps 1.25 loaves maybe. And that'll certainly last me 5 hours. Well, I'd be amazed if it doesn't. I don't want to fill them up. Just want to get them out there looking for the flake. We'll give it another 10 or 15 minutes in here. Just see if any of his mates want to join him in the landing net. I know lots of people as well, they like a centre pin for trotting. But I think it's because probably my first ever reel I bought was a close face reel, but I do absolutely love close face reels for trotting. Just the one-handed operation, it's just so easy to use. Much less effort if you're going to do good few hours trotting. Much less effort than batting back a centre pin. I do have a centre pin set up, so I've not actually used it yet. And that shows you how much I like my, my close face reel. Well, it looks like this fella has scared all his mates. Nothing else. I think we'll make a move. We'll put this fella back and we'll have a move upstream. Certainly ready. Very ready. Hold on, mate. Hold on. There we go. Gone. He wasn't hanging about. This is a lovely run through here. Bit of cover. Bit of slack on the inside. This looks like a cracking swim. There's some amount of water on. Nice long run down as well. Wonderful. Right, let's see what we can do. I'm quite warm actually. It's quite warm today. Walking about. That's good. Get rid of my lockdown belly. Right, so how we faring here? It's going through at a nice pace. Well, it's a lovely long run down. Covered in mud. Very muddy down here. River's only just got back in the banks. A lot of mud everywhere. Let's try and get out in that flow a little bit more. Run it past that cover. Oh, that's nice. A bit of a dip down the bottom there, right down the bottom, but I think that's probably the bottom. I'm sure there'll be some chub in here. Just got to coax them out. Another little dink on the float there. I wonder if we're finally getting some response. Oh, there we go. Right at the bottom of the swim, that went down when he's really trying to get into this. Whoa, got to stop him getting into there. Sorry if I'm out of shot, but I've had to run over here. He's really doing his best to get into those trees down there. I have to get off downstream and try and free him. Oh no. Well, I don't know if you can still hear me, but we've just got him out. Sometimes just getting a different angle on a fish can get them out. God, what a scrap in this flow. See if we can get back down here. Oh, stick straight in the eye. Oh, that's not helped. Unfortunately, I've left my landing net up there. Well, yeah, he made it into those bushes over there. But just the change of angle got him out. Me traipsing up and down here is not going to do the swim any good. Well, a bit of an excursion. But we got him out. Not even particularly big. I knew there must be some chub in this swim. I really weren't having any of it though. That's not a bad one. Wonderful. Got him. Well, I thought we were in trouble there when he got into that into that snag down there. But fortunately, I was able to get a different angle on him and got him out. Right. Oh, it's a lovely fish, to be fair. Lovely fish. Wow. Blimey. Wow. Look at the size of that. With half the snag hanging out of his mouth. Wonderful stuff. God, no wonder he beat us up a bit. Fab. Right, let's get him unhooked. Well, persistence paid off. It just looked too good a swim, this, to not have any chub in it. And like I said, I've had chub here in the past, out of here. I knew there must be some in here. But way, way down the swim, you can probably see there's a branch sticking out down there. And that's where I took it. Just near there. Fab. Yeah, it took quite a while to get this swim going. Say 15-20 minutes to get them on this bread. Well, I take here, then I missed a couple of bites, and then finally that one down there. But yeah, what a scrap. Oh, I did get one of these branches straight in my eye. Which is not great. So what we've got here is a bit of a pool. Still at the top of the pool. Current's on the far side. There's a big slack area on the inside. So I'm just going to run the rod and run the float down with the flow. I think sometimes it will carry on downstream. Sometimes it will swing into the slack. Some trees above us, which is a bit awkward. But we'll cope. Just try this float in a slightly slacker water. Not a lot going on out there, that flow. Seems relatively shallow in there. I think we're getting a bite though. Float's bobbing away. I don't think it's anything particularly big. Oh, there we go. That's something, not very big. A roach, I'd imagine, or a dace or something. We got, oh, a little chub. Little chublet. Oh, what an awkward swim to fish. Well, if he's in the slack there, perhaps his big brother will be as well. Well, back you go. Float was bobbing away and bobbing away. That's interesting. As I say, that was in the slacker water, so perhaps they're hanging around in there as opposed to in the current. There we go. Just at the tail of the pool as it came round. Again, it doesn't feel very big. Another little chublet. Perhaps this is a swim of chublets. Very awkward to land them in here. Oh, pick it, mate, just about. Well, they're getting a bit bigger. I've come down, right down the bottom of this stretch, back onto the main river, to have a trot down this swim. Now, I trotted this swim a few months ago for about half an hour. I had a phone call from home and had to go. So, I do know half an hour's worth of information about it. But obviously you've got this stuff in the way here, which is a real pain. But there's a bit of cover down there, some trees and tree roots and stuff in the water. So, could kick up some fish. Spend 5 minutes or so just putting some bait in, not in a rush to get a bait in the water. And then we'll see what we can do. Oh, went under that. No fish. Oh, there we go. Had a couple of knocks and then it went down. I thought perhaps it was small fish playing around with it, but we're in. That's fab. Of course, being a chub, he's trying to get in all the snags. Come on, act. Not even a very big one. Well, very awkward fishing here. Trees above. As I say, it's not even a very big one, but it'll certainly do. There he is. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Right. So we'll keep him down here so he doesn't scare all his friends. Great stuff. Well, hopefully we can have a few more. If we can get them feeding in here. I took him just Just past the tree, really, not far down at all. I think we're stuck on that branch again. Definitely some kind of obstruction under there. Seems to go right the way across the river as well. I could shallow up to get past it, but obviously then I'm fishing shallow all the way down, unfortunately. Ah, got another fish. Perhaps it was fish last time. Oh, this is even smaller than that one, I think. But never mind, at least we've got them feeding. Hopefully we can work our way up to the big ones. Yeah, I think I'll just about lift this one out. Yep. Wonderful. Fantastic. Well, we seem to have got them feeding. That's a good start. I'd say hopefully they'll get bigger and bigger. A bit of luck. Well, there we go. Took a long way down the swim this time. Well, it looks like we have got him on this bread. To keep him out. Away from the snags, obviously. It's a bit of a dead weight at the moment. Not doing a lot. Well, it's a bit nip one, pearl one, but we got him out. Branch there is an absolute nightmare. Again, he's not even particularly big. It's all covered in snag. There we go. Biggest one out of this swim anyway. There we go. Oh. Certainly the biggest one out of here, but yeah, that was fun. Trying to extract him from that snag. Oh, we had a bite. I think it was a bite. But again, it may be more of this snag that sticks out in the water. Who knows? I think we're going to give it another 10 minutes in here. And then I'm going to move back up one of the swims we've already fished. Perhaps switch over to Maggots. And really stick in one swim. Been flitting about a little bit more than I intended to, really, but just get a bit like that, and I just want to do all the swims. Or I'll go and concentrate on one or two swims, I think. See, I'm already at it. I've gone from one to two, one or two. Squirrel messing about behind me. Right, I'm going to call it a day there, I think. It's It's not exactly great, and like I say, I'm a bit dubious about hooking anything big in there near that snag. So we'll get off and perhaps revisit some of the swims we tried earlier. Right, let's get these fellas back. Off you go. There you go. Fab. Well, we're on the outside of a bend here, as you can probably see. It's a little bit down from a swim I was fishing earlier. Just fancied trying this little bit, because the normal sort of swim area, it's very boily. Very wild water in there. I'm not sure that's really going to be much caught. But I'm thinking that just downstream of it, it settles down nicely down here. We might be able to pick up a fish or two down in here with a bit of luck. And following wind, there's definitely one of them blowing down my neck. Just wondering if running this round here, it's sort of slightly less wild water, just looks nicer bet than the crazy goings on down there. I don't think any fish will want to be sitting in there. Wait 10 minutes or so, see if we get any knocks or any bites. There's that little side channel coming in there as well, which is always a good thing. A bit of different water enters, often bring food down. It's just a run off for the fields, that is. Fish often like places like that because there can be lots of food, you know, worms and stuff running off the fields into that. So it can often be a good old place to run a bait past. Could be some fish sat just below that. Just trying to find the right line to run it round. Just tripping under there. You might need to shallow up a little bit. Keep getting dragged under. Oh, it's a fish. Was I saying about always strike? Blimey. It feels a decent fish as well. Having said that, there is some floating here. It's just holding that. It feels like at the bottom. Oh, blimey. Wow. There is some flow in here, so it's probably a bit deceptive. But it really is just holding there. I'm gaining on it a little bit, but the line's singing in the wind. Really did think we had the bottom then. It's going to be fun trying to land this. And this flow. He's off. He's off. I'm sure it's a chub. He's trying to get into the bank. Did for a minute think it was a barbel the way it was just holding the bottom, but it's not charging about enough to be a barbel, I don't think. Barbel don't tend to go for the snags as much as chub, do they? This fella is doing a really good job of trying to get into the edge. Saw a brassy flank. God, he's just in this current. I can't do a lot with him. God, blimey. Just sticking in this flow. Like I say, I can't do a lot at the moment. Except keep him out. Away from the bank. God, blimey. God, it looks like a decent fish. This is a chub. It does look like a decent one. God, blimey. What a scrap. Once again, he's trying to get in the edge. Oh, blimey. I think we're going to go down there and try and net him in a minute. We've got a little bit of control. Really, I need to get him upstream and then drop him down into the net. But that'll be a good trick at the minute. Just determined to get into this bank down here. Absolutely determined. I think I need to get down here, the landing net. I think he's managed to get into something down here. That's what I've been trying to get into for the last few minutes. I think he's managed it. Where he is. There he is. Oh, he got him free. God, it's a proper one. Wow, that's a proper chub. Blimey. No wonder he's putting up such a scrap. Wow. Big snag down here, that's the problem. God, blimey. Oh, that is a proper big one. Right, I think we're winning, I think. Oh, got him. Have we? No, we haven't. God, I can't hold the net in the flow. Oh, what a pig's ear. Oh, got him. Can't actually hold this net. The flow is so strong in here. Right, we'll give him a minute, get his breath back. God, what a scrap. There's a big snag down here. There's a big tree trunk in the water. That's what he got behind. They always find them, don't they? Well, I'm glad I stuck with fishing the bread. I had to put this one on the scales, £5.3. Look at the size of it, absolute tank. Wonderful, what a fish. And what a scrap. Wow. Beautiful. Wonderful stuff. Right, I'm not going to keep him out, it's getting back in the water. So I've just returned him just a little bit further upstream. Not a great fan of doing that, but it's only about 15 metres or so. But it's there's no way I could keep him in the edge down here. It's just too turbulent. There's a tiny little bit of slack there, but a fish like that, it's pretty straight back. Worth another go, I reckon, in here. He's in light quite quickly now. The clouds have finally come over. I'm not sure how much longer we're going to get. I don't fancy soaking, as I said, because I'm out again tomorrow. So I don't want to get soaking wet. But if we do, we do. Well, I did think this turbulent water upstream, if we're spinning around, you'll see all this boiling turbulent water. The fish just don't want to be in that. I thought perhaps the fish that were possibly in there would have dropped down here a little way, and so it seems. I did think I had the bottom, I really did at first, and then when I felt a couple of thumps, I thought I couldn't move it off the bottom. I thought it must be a barbel, but yeah, not surprised. Fish of that stature, blimey. In this flow as well. Cool. Well, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by that chub, these inflows, places where little streams and little inflows come into the water, they can be fantastic places. I mean, I can't say that one was below it, it was just above it actually, in this sort of steadier water just above it, but can often be great places for the fish to sit. They sort of sit in there waiting for, as I say, that's actually a runoff from the fields behind me. It's like a drainage ditch down the edge of the field, so it's bound to get full of insects and worms and all sorts of stuff, and they'll all come flowing in there. And obviously the fish with its face closest to that outflow is going to be the one that gets the grub. But nearly out of mash bread, so I think we'll have a few more minutes in here on mash bread, and I might, just depending on the weather and how quickly it gets dark, I might do one more swim on maggots. I say one more swim, a swim we had the fish out of earlier. Might be worth giving that a revisit. Mind you, we could fish maggots in here. It does seem like a decent spot. If there's fish of that stature holding up in here, then why not? Perhaps we'll stay put. I think we've got about 45 minutes of light left. Until we won't be able to see this float anymore. What's that? Mink? Looked like a mink, didn't it? I don't know if you saw that over on the other bank. I think it was a mink. Looked very much like a ferret anyway. Black ferret, so I think that's a mink, isn't it? Wasn't an otter. There's another one that, you see it over there? I think they're mink. So they're not paying any attention to me anyway. I always thought that otters displaced mink. Part of the otter fraternity's argument was always that, oh well, when you get otters they displace the mink, because obviously mink are not indigenous. Well, this place is full of otters. Clearly that's not true. It's full of otters and has been full of otters for years. I've seen otters here, I don't know, at least 3 years ago. Maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It's clearly not bothering those mink. And there we go. A couple of times it's gone under at the bottom of the swim. I thought it was the bottom, but this is clearly not the bottom. Well, the change to maggots has worked. If I can keep this out of all the foliage that it's trying to get into. I don't think it's particularly big. We're certainly putting up a good scrap in this flow. Sort those maggots out before they all escape. Here we go again. Trying to find everything I get out. Quite got the bulk of the last one to get himself in the in that snag down there. Oh, there we go. Well, that's nice. That's about that. Perhaps pound and a half, something like that. Wonderful. Fancy those maggots. Right, that's it. I'm going to call it a day at that. It's been a cracking session. Cracking. Really enjoyed that. But I think it's time to make tracks. Get the car packed ready for tomorrow. For the last day of the season. I've got a full day at it tomorrow. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I want to make sure I don't forget to pack anything. So again, tomorrow being the last day of the season, it's a Monday, I've got it off work, and I'm planning on going over to the lug and the Y. That's the plan at the moment. And as I say, I'm going to head off now home to pack the car ready for that very early start in the morning. But yeah, I've had a cracking session here today. Really enjoyed that. Got caked in bread, caked in mud. But for the penultimate Avon fish of the year to be that chub, wow. Absolutely wonderful. What a scrap. I made an absolute pig's ear of trying to net it. I just couldn't push the net against the flow. Couldn't do it. But yeah, we got him in the end. So that's the main thing. But yeah, hopefully we can have a few fish tomorrow to end the season. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Tight lines, enjoy your own angling. Many thanks to the channel patrons for your wonderful support. If you want to see how I get on the last day of the season, that will be for the next video, which will be posted a few days after this one. Hope you have a cracking end to the season, and I'll see you all again very soon.